In this video, we'll be writing array content to file and then reading that content back from file. So in the first part, we'll do writing content to file. And in the second part, we will be reading that content from file. So let's start with the first part where we define an array of pointers, where each pointer points to a string literal. So that's going to be the data type is going to be characters or char. And the name of our array of pointers is going to be called content. And let's not give it a size initially. And we'll start with our first line, say test 1, test 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1. So that's something like that. And for second line, we'll make it 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, one more line. Should be enough. 3 lines should be enough for this demo. And let's close off our array with a semicolon. The second step is to get the number of elements dynamically. So we'll use size of content, that's the content is the name of our array, and that gets us the total size of the array, and we'll divide that with the size of the single element, or we can just choose the first element. And dividing these together will give us the number of elements in the array. So we'll store that into an integer variable called count, and we then will use that variable to know how many elements we have in the array. Next part is we want to open the file in write mode. So we'll create our file pointer. We call it file, and we will use fopen, and we'll pass the name of our file. So content.txt, and we'll open this in write mode. So we'll use W. Now, if this file does not exist, it will be created. So let's have a look at our workspace. So here we don't have the file. However, if we compile and run, that file, if it didn't exist, when we open the file in write mode, it will be created for you. However, there's nothing in it because we haven't written anything to it. If the file exists, it will just be overwritten with new data. Now, if fopen in this step returns null, then an error message, we should check for that error. So that's in step 4. So if file is equal to null, we'll print error opening file for writing, and a new line. And let's semicolon and return. We should return 1. The program exits due to an error. So let's compile, making sure we haven't got an issue. In step 5, we write data to the file. So we want to initialize declare I, and then we'll initialize it inside a loop. So I is equal to 0, I is less than count, I plus plus. Next, what we want to do is use fprintf to write each line to file. So what we'll be doing is we'll be passing in the file as an argument. And then here we specify a formatting rule. So it's going to be a string and a new line. So here adding a new line at the end. And we are reading the data from the array at that index. So content at index I. And in the last step of part A, we will close using fclose. Sorry, let me write that correctly. Fclose and passing file to it. Let's compile and then making sure everything is going well. And let's have a look at our file. So now we've got all the content written successfully to the file. So that part is finished. Let's now read that content back from the file to screen. So we want to open the file in write mode. So I'm going to copy this line. So the file pointer has already been declared. We just want to give it a new value. So instead of W, we'll do R. So that's going to open in read mode. Now, checking for error, I'm just going to compile, make sure I haven't got any errors. Okay, so I need to get rid of that pointer. So that way, yep, I've just copied more than I should. The next part is if we're checking for error, I'm just going to copy all this back here. And we don't need to change anything except for the message error opening file for reading. And let's compile. Looks good. In step 3 of this part is we read and print each line using a while loop. So initially we want to create a character array to store each line read from the file. So the size would be 100. It should be enough. We'll use a while loop. Now for the while loop, we want to use fgets, and we'll pass line, size of line, and the file to read one line at a time. So that's going to go inside the while loop. Okay, and we want to check, so this loop until end of file is reached. So we do that by saying not equal to null. And then here we print each line directly to console using printf. And we will print out a string and that line that we have read from file. Okay, so notice that we are not reading anything from the array, from the content, but we are actually reading it directly from the file. Okay. All right, so in the last step here, we basically just close the file. So we can pretty much copy this line and paste it here. Let's compile and make sure that we haven't got any issues, and let's run it. So now we have the data in the first step. In the first part, we brought this from the array to file, and then from file to screen. And so this pretty much concludes our program, which is writing array content to file and then reading that content from file. I hope this video was informative to you. Please post your questions for any particular topics you'd like me to demonstrate, and thank you for watching.